When hearing the word bullying, what is the first thought that comes to mind?
Mean.
Probably someone being mean to another person.
Saying mean things.
Use this thing called cancel culture and bully other people. Someone who is constantly harassing someone.
Where I was bullied in middle school.
Hurting someone else.
A larger kid pushing a smaller kid into a locker.
Bullying is a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally and repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. Bullying can take place in the form of physical contact, words, or more subtle actions.
Prolonged harassment.
Consistent harassment.
Constant harassment of someone, something that's repeated and repeated over time.
Actions that are repeatedly demeaning.
Acts that are harmful, that seem to intimidate or hurt others.
Anytime you treat someone negatively,
making another person feel less than.
The bullied individual typically has trouble defending him or herself and does nothing to cause the bullying.
Now, is it a big problem?
Yes.
Yes.
I think bullying is definitely a big problem. Bullying is a problem.
It is. It's always been a big problem.
Yes, bullying is a big problem. It's a big problem because it affects the mental and physical state of people who are being bullied.
Bullying is a problem in schools, in different communities.
Bullying is a big problem in a lot of different places, especially if it goes unaddressed.
It can be a big problem. However, in the district that we're in, our district is extremely proactive.
I don't think it's a big problem in this particular school, but there are places where it's a big problem.
So there's been a problem, especially on social media.
But I'm aware that nowadays most bullying takes place outside of school, as far as cyberbullying.
There's a lot more spotlights with social media and technology.
According to the CDC, nearly 30% of American adolescents reported at least moderate bullying experiences as the bully, the victim, or both. October is even recognized as National Bullying Prevention Month. Jonathan Hewitt, the author of Life Co-Parenting, states, "I'm thrilled that we are giving this critical issue such focused attention, but on the other hand, I am deeply saddened that bullying in our nation has reached such epidemic proportions."
Let's look at cases of bullying on Long Island.
In a sister school near ours, there was a case where they went to a game, I think a tennis game. There was a bunch of students from a different school who made a bunch of racial slurs and did other acts towards them because of their race.
I think that Long Island's no different than anywhere else, and there's going to be bullying as long as there's people who don't feel good about themselves and there's people who are different than the society that they find themselves in.
Luckily in our school it's not a huge problem. We do have cases of bullying within our school. We've addressed those things pretty quickly.
Students are targeted, for one reason or another, and the so-called bully will gather their friends around them. And, let's face it, kids like a show. They especially with social media, has had a devastating impact on bullying because it's everywhere.
According to Joe Salomone, the founder of the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying, 90% of people reported cyberbullying through social media. In 2003, Ryan Halligan, a 13-year-old who attended school in North Hempstead, had committed suicide due to being cyberbullied. Nearly 10 years later, David Hernandez Barros, a junior at East Hampton High School, committed suicide because of excessive anti-gay bullying.
I have seen cases of bullying online, whether it be on TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram.
Yes, there is some cyberbullies.
Sometimes there's bullying on Roblox.
So it's clear that bullying can really harm a person's mental state. Now let's explore the major reasons individuals are bullied.
The bully may have their own set of things going on internally, and
they feel sad in their normal life, but then when they go to school, they want to make everybody feel how they feel.
Those who appear to be weak.
They're perceived as being weak.
Probably like a new student who comes to the school.
Many bullies tend to attack their victims based on things that make them completely unique, that makes them different. This ranges from appearance, behavior, race, religion, social status, and even sexual identity. In fact, 42% of students who reported that they were bullied at school said it was mainly due to their physical appearance.
Individuals can be bullied for anything. But there must be some people that tend to be bullied more, right?
Simply because they find their interests or talents to be outside of what is culturally normal or acceptable.
When someone is different, when someone is perceived as different and they don't conform to the norm of that particular group.
It's kind of human nature to alienate what's ever different.
I myself was a huge target of bullying in high school, and I think I had the perfect recipe for it. I was very sensitive, and I demonstrated that it bothered me.
Someone that is different attracts the attention of other people.
Usually, children who are much more different than their peers tend to be bullied because they are seen as strange or weird. These are typically kids who don't seem to fit in with standards of society. Included in this are those a part of the LGBTQ community, as well as special needs kids with disabilities.
They find themselves outside of that major, thing that people like.
They see something in them that allows them to think that they can go and try to hurt them.
How does bullying make people feel?
Feel very insecure and upset.
You're petrified to answer a question in class because you're afraid someone's going to make fun of your response.
It makes them really question a lot of things. It makes them doubt.
In the long term, individuals who have been bullied are prone to feeling extended periods of sadness in which they develop mental disorders such as anxiety and depression. Even bullies themselves tend to suffer from several mental disorders. Bullying doesn't benefit the bully nor the bullied.
Very depressed, very sad, very lost.
And you start questioning your own self and your true ability.
Bullying can definitely bring someone into the worst part of their life.
It's important to be on the lookout for warning signs in order to spot those that are impacted by bullying.
Not wanting to interact or be social with anyone.
So if we saw a student who's normally outgoing become more withdrawn.
They might not do their homework. They might not want to go to school.
Those who are bullied may refrain from participating in normal social events that take place in school, such as club gatherings. Signs that someone is negatively impacted by bullying are extremely evident in the youth. They may lose their appetite or have cuts and bruises resulting from attempts at self-harm.
I think the ones we have to worry more about, though, are the subtle signs. What's somebody's facial reaction?
You'll see it in their social interactions with others. Many times at home, students those people who are bullied will act out with their families.
Bullying is detrimental to the well-being of several people across the globe, as it actively encourages discriminatory behavior. If we want bullying to ever go away, we must put the work in. So what exactly can we do to put an end to bullying?
Prevention comes from when we know.
There's always going to be mean human beings who will make you feel worse about yourselves. So it's also a mixture of learning how to stand above that and creating your own support system that will help you do these things.
A school culture that promotes tolerance and acceptance of all.
Our principal, Dr. Pompilio, he really enforces a no bullying zone.
I invite you to take the first step, which is awareness. We need to help our children build a strong, positive sense of self from within. Second, we need to help our children develop the skills to deal with negative thoughts when they do arise, which can be done through counseling and much more.
There are many resources available that bully victims have complete access to.
School psychologists, all of the guidance counselors.
Oftentimes the teacher is the point person. The student will often go to a teacher they know and trust and tell them.
Probably a teacher, an adult, my parents.
They're the ones who really are best equipped to help you.
It is true that a school psychologist, guidance counselor, or even a local therapist can ease some of the dismay that bully victims have to go through. Other resources can include the American Federation of Teachers and even the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, which provides books and videos to help those who are experiencing bullying.
There's also a lot of agencies on Long Island like STOMP and the Long Island Coalition Against Bullying,
which provides programming and resources to assist and support children, families, and schools with bullying-related issues.
Student Council, and we have the Black Student Union, and we have several clubs like that where students can speak up about issues that are affecting them.
Even in the classroom, educators play a role in helping to prevent bullying.
If you see something, say something.
There has to be consistent communication every teacher has to be the same. If you see something, address it immediately. You know, you can't have a teacher who's going to let kids talk inappropriately to each other and then another one will address it. Everybody has to address it.
If you get a feeling that something's going up, always address it. So either always, if you think that there's a victim, always ask the kid to stay after class and have a private conversation one-on-one.
Educators have to be watching what their students are doing.
I try to be very observant when I'm in my classroom and when I'm in the hallway, and just try to get a sense of how my students might be feeling.
Educators can help increase the presence of adult supervision in school settings because the majority of bullying occurs when an adult is not present. School educators should reinforce the school district's policies on bullying while also creating a school-wide code of conduct in which there is no tolerance for discrimination against other students.
It is not just up to educators but also the youth to stop bullying.
I have helped one of my friends who was being bullied and told him that it wasn't good to bully other people just because he was bullied.
Just trying to understand those people or trying to create more friendly events where you can get these people together.
Spreading positivity throughout your community by just simply complimenting someone on a daily basis.
Showing generosity to the bully victim can go a long way. You can invite them to join activities with you and your friends in order to make them feel welcome. Making anti-bullying posters and hanging them around the school, or even posting them on social media for other students to see, can help aid in stopping bullying.
The harmful and detrimental impacts of bullying are real. From mental disorders, high suicide rates, and even extended periods of despair, the struggle isn't worth it, ever.
Bullying is even more present online through social media, and we need to be more proactive in spreading positivity both in school and online. We must continue to raise awareness against bullying and care for those who are broken.
Ultimately, we all play a role in
vanquishing bullying once and for all.